And one thing I can tell you, thank you very much. And one thing I can ask you is to, I do realize you guys have a very foreign accent, you know. So if you don't understand my American accent, you can stop me. I'll repeat myself. I'll wrap it up very quick. So my presentation today. First of all, I apologize for the time. You know, it seems like there's not many organizations going on over here, but please bear with us over here. So I want to talk about Professor Noam Chomsky. When I choose to be Professor Noam Chomsky, I do realize many people here probably have never heard of him. Who is Professor Noam Chomsky? He actually was born in 1928. He's an American, very prominent. He's one of the world's biggest linguist and political philosopher of the modern, the postmodern era. So he really challenged the standard way of thinking. He is one of the person who first understand what is a major problem that our society are facing today. As a political activist, he started his political activism with the war, the war of Vietnam. Being a great linguist that he was, he understood that the media, to sell the war to people, there was a big disparity onto what was really going on in the war by the southeast of Vietnam and what the media was telling to people over here. So he understood that he asked a question. Being a philosophy, what philosophy do, we ask questions to understand why this and why that. So some people might think Professor Noam Chomsky was actually a very prominent professor in the world. He's very widely respected, even though we don't know him here. They ask the question, they think he is a communist. But no, he's not a communist. Actually, think the communists use the same tactics as the so-called capitalistic, you know, those who think themselves as to be in the free society. So it traded what you call the corporate media, propaganda, and the threat to a real democracy. What did he say? He says, the smart way to keep people passive and obedient is to strictly limit the spectrum of acceptable opinion, but allow very lively debate within that spectrum. What does that mean, actually? It means you limit what people can know, and you stretch it out as if it was the whole reality. And you use the media to propagate, to shape the people's opinion. Right? To shape the people's opinion. We are thinking we are in a free society, there's a democracy, we're free thinkers, right? We elect our officials. What is a democracy? Is a government of people, by the people, and for the people. Mean those elected officials are supposedly those that were elected based on our political ideas, based on what we want them to, the way we want them to represent us. But now, if we don't have the whole frame, we don't have the entire truth, the whole information about certain reality, how can we freely and knowingly hold a position when we don't know actually the whole reality of the things, of the events? So Professor Noam Chomsky, he addressed those issues. He says, for example, real democracy, he believes, will be the one in which people freely participate in the political decision making and also in related economic decision. He must sound like he was just a very nagging or a very controversial, or he is a very controversial or a very negative anarchist. He's actually an anarchist. You know, he believes that things are not going right in America. And quite frankly, I am right with him on that. So I choose to carry the American flag because some might think Professor Noam Chomsky is un-American, which is absolutely not the truth. He asks questions. They meant people to question the authority, question what they think they know, in order to make an informed decision. What's happened? We can just take one example of the political process going on right now. We're witnessing the primary election for the Republican primary, for the presidential Republican primaries. We have a gentleman called Ron Paul. Whether or not you agree with him or not, at least he's not being given. The media are not talking about him at all. Right? So, how can we make an informed decision if we don't have the whole scoop of the reality? Basically, to cut it short, we won't stay here all night. I'll try to limit it, cut it short, is to be able to question the authority and check what we know is the truth in order to make an informed decision. That is basically in a few moments that I had to explain what Professor Noam Chomsky stands about. And I encourage everyone to get online and make research about Professor Noam Chomsky. He had many interesting quotes that we don't have enough time here to read them all. And one of the ones that I like the most is the one I will read to finish this little presentation. It says, either you repeat the same conventional doctrine everybody is saying, or else you say something true, and it will be sounds like it's from Neptune. So I give you guys to think about it, and even saying this, I will end up this presentation. I thank you very much for your time.
Feels like we're having a summer party.
All right. You guys were a terrible class.
Either one. Oh. Huh? Well.
Let them go too long, and then when it's our turn, it's
Yeah.
like, boom, hurry up. It's like, woo.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I was kidding. I was like, I don't think I could talk any quicker. I like totally skipped the philosophy of don't go. Yep, don't have time. I was